All right, hello everyone, welcome. I'm Morali, and we're back with another Spear preview of Guild Wars 2 Janthier Wilds. Sorry, I don't know, I'm like weirdly out of it today. But anyways, so I'm very excited. Uh, Not what I predicted. So very strangely, the preview that we got today is going to be Warrior, Thief, and Engineer. So I was thinking they would do like one heavy, one medium, one light class, like profession, like armor classes or whatever, which they did for the first one, but the second one they didn't do that. So the ones that are the outliers now, the last one will be Revenant, Elementalist, and Mesmer. And I think a lot of people are like very curious to see what the Mesmer is gonna get. I'm very curious to see exactly how the Elementalist is gonna work and the Revenant. But the warriors, I don't know, the warrior and the thief too, because I'm kind of like, I'm not a thief player. I used to main thief like way early on in Guild Wars 2, and stepped away from thief, because they were just too squishy for me. And I'm not one of those people, like, I don't like the hectic play style, and I feel like thief really has that hectic play style where you have to like, you have to evade, and then like stealth and whatever. Anyways, so thief kind of has been off my radar for a long time, but still something I'd be interested in playing, depending exactly on how it's going to go. Also, so last week when I did this video for the spear thing, I didn't know there was an actual article for it. So I felt kind of stupid after the fact because I released a video and I was like, wait a minute, there was actually an article for it. And it was funny because some of the stuff that was in the article was actually stuff that I was like predicting in the video. So it was just kind of like, maybe that's what this is inspired by. And they like blatantly say it in the text that that's what it is. So I was just like, wow, good on my part of figuring that out. But, we actually have it, sitting there. So, anyways, let's go through. So we're going to watch the video and then we're going to read the post. And I'm going to try to decipher as much as I can. So things we're looking for here, guys, just so you know, we're going to be looking for connections to, again, I talked about like the sun symbol, right? That was like a big thing. Language stuff, runes, like old scripts and scriptures and like those types of things, right? We were kind of like deciphering some of the languages on there and stuff. So that's kind of what I'm looking for still in the animations, to see if there's more of that, and if we can maybe discern a little bit more about the lowland codons. And then the last thing to look for, as always, are mouse cursors, because they are the bane of my existence when it comes to ArenaNet videos. So we'll see if ArenaNet is three for three on mouse cursors and videos. But we'll see. So let's swap over here and let's see. So let's start with the video. Just so you know, there might be a slight echo on the sound, because I don't have my headphones, so I'm playing. The music is really cool. It seems to be a new combat theme for the expansion, I'm guessing. It's really cool. I'm gonna have it like on low here on my speakers, so you might hear it slightly in the background. I'm not sure, but we're gonna play it and we're just gonna watch. 200 spears. Oh, first of all, why is this such a low quality? Yeah, okay, sure, 360. That's exactly what we'd love to watch. All right, anyways, let's do it. Two-handed spears, new weapon. And they call it, by the way, they call it Spear Factor, Warrior, Thief, and Engineer. So, interesting. We're starting with the Thief, I think, right? Or Engineer? Thief. Okay, we're going with the Thief first. So again, we have like... Okay, it's a close range weapon. Well, I like the way they wield it. Oh, we actually got some stab animations. Oh, that was smooth. Ooh, I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Those animations look really, really cool. Because if you look at it, it's super interesting. And I don't know how loud the music is. I might turn it down a little bit just so you guys can hear me better. The volume on it, because we don't really need to listen to that. But the animation. So again, we have like, so this doesn't seem to be, they were talking about specifically with the Ranger. I think they were talking about that the auto attack is like different. There's like this weird mechanic that they have now where like the auto attack changes from like long range to close range and whatever, right? We're right outside of Ebonhawk here, but here it seems to be like we just have a and you might hear the water drip from the AC thing here. I'm gonna move that so we don't hear that dripping the whole time. So but here I think we just have like a gap closer, like it's just see like you throw the spear, which is really cool. I love that animation there. And then I guess you probably I'm guessing what is happening here is you throw the spear, and I love that it stopped right when they're like upside down. But you throw the spear, and I think you probably get like a flip over skill, and then you can like pull yourself to the enemy or something. So it's almost like a scorpion wire, but like reversed in that sense. Don't they have something for underwater that's like that or something like that? That's kind of what it looks like. I like watch the animations on how the swinging is of the spear here. Like it's so cool. Like they just like wah, 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 they swing it around. It's really cool. I don't know. I can't do sound effects, but and then we get this. I love it. So there is a stealth skill involved. I guess I don't know if it's a combo there or what, but yeah, you go like invisible and you get like a little man here, and then yeah, and then you reveal yourself and you get the little stabby thing. I love the little stabby animation. That is really cool. So I like that. It looks really cool. So it's a close range weapon. It's probably gonna be like the brother to the staff in a sense, probably the way that it feels. I feel like with the leap is kind of like how the bound is, you know, and then you have the close range, like the auto attack on the staff is kind of where you like swing the staff around, so that kind of feels like that too. Then we have the engineer here. This interesting choice of a like setup here, the fashion, but we're in Thunderhead Peaks on the ice flow. Okay, so they can like charge forward, right? Okay, let's just watch the whole thing first and then go through. And like I said, I've lowered the music, so I'm sorry you guys probably can't hear it, but... Ooh, okay. It's like a field? Oh yeah, that's like a... Oh, that's like a lightning field that strikes enemies. Okay. Oh, and you send like a spear into the sky? I like it. Oh, this looks really cool. This is... that looks really, really, really good. Okay, so we start off... somewhere. There we go. Yeah, so if you guys want to listen to the sound, you can watch the video yourself, so I'll just kind of keep it low. So you charge forward and you stab, so I like that. Again, it's a close range weapon here, but it looks to be heavily AoE, like, because, you know, you slash at it, right? This seems to be auto attack, where you slash at him. But then you have this skill that sends out these, like, weird electrical, these spearheads that circle you. And it's all like electrified. So it creates this lightning field, and then watch as the dredge here gets like constantly lightning struck. So it's almost, this feels like the air elementalist, the overload on the air magic in Tempest, kind of where you like have these lightning strikes that come down constantly. That's what this feels like. See how it's like constantly like getting hit by lightning, and then it gets this little symbol above its head, so there's some kind of debuff or something that's happening, I'm guessing, where probably, you know, if there's probably something where you get like a secondary effect from an enemy if they have this like debuff on them or something. You know, if they're like standing within your field, they get this like debuff, and then you can probably use a specific skill on them or something like that, would be my guess, right? And then we summon like another spear, shoot it into the air actually, phew, like goes bye-bye, and then comes crashing down. Weirdly that it does it at like a strange angle there, but yeah, and then like one final boom. And another electric field. So there's a lot of electric stuff going on, which is kind of cool. Again, this is, it's weird how like I feel like I compared the spear on the thief to the staff. the same thing here I would do with this is very like Hammer has a lot of electric stuff too, on this, you know, when we got it with this scrapper on the engineer, but now with the weapon master we can use it on just, you know, anything for the engineer. But it has like a lot of like, doesn't it have, I don't play engineer like ever. I do have one engineer that I have leveled, but it doesn't have like an electric field too and stuff. But these look like new animations. Like, these don't look like the regular electricity animations that we've had before. Um, I mean, like, I feel like the movement of the characters and stuff, like, we have seen that before, right? That's, like, feels like, I mean, we've seen all of this. But I feel like the actual, like, electrical part looks new, which is cool. It's always nice to see that. So, that looks really cool. I like that. Good for the engineers. Close range weapon. I don't know if that's something that we needed. I don't know. For the thief, it's interesting because I feel like I said with the staff, I feel like the staff is gonna get replaced now. I think it's gonna be one of those things where, if ArenaNet doesn't keep up with balancing older weapons more often and more like egregiously, like just seriously go in and like change stuff up, then these new weapons are gonna outshine a lot of these older weapons really easily. And so, you know, having the thief as a close range power weapon, having the staff be a close range power weapon on the thief, and having the spear perhaps be the same, because that's what it looks like to me, kind of feels like the staff is just gonna fall out of favor, because it's gonna be new tech and new things, right? Like, staff skills are from, you know, 2014 or whatever, 2015 or whatever, when Heart of Thorns came out. And then now we're talking like 2024, right? So it's like, obviously there's new tech and new things, and they're probably gonna feel nicer. And I feel like the same might be here. I don't know. Is Hammer gonna be not the weapon anymore? I mean, it depends. We can read about it. We can see what skills they have. If you guys have noticed any cursors, any mouse cursors, let me know. I have not noticed any mouse cursors. Someone tried to ask me, it was really funny. Someone tried to ask me on, was it on Twitter? Was it on Twitter or was it on, it was on Twitter. Someone asked me on Twitter to point out the mouse cursor, and I kid you not, guys, and I literally, I was going nuts. The cursor appears right when you're watching the video on Twitter or on X or whatever you want to call it, right? You watch the video, the the little button that goes along the line of the Twitter video, it doesn't turn red, right? It does that on YouTube. It stays white on Twitter, but it's actually a bigger button. The button literally moves right over where the cursor is if you watch the video. Like, if you watch it on like a vertical instead of like horizontal. If you watch horizontal, I'm sure it probably doesn't quite fit. But if you watch it vertically, it's right in that moment where you're supposed to see the cursor is where that little button from the video is like right over it, I'm pretty sure. And I'm like, of course no one on Twitter can see it. If they're watching it like that, it covers it right up. And I'm like, it's so weird how that worked out. But yeah, so I haven't seen any mouse cursors yet, but let's go to the warrior. This is the one that I'm super interested in. As some of you guys know, I've been kind of maining a warrior for the last few years. It's the guy that I always use for most of my videos and stuff. And I'm very excited. I've recently talked about how I would like to do a like Paragon, because we're gonna be soon. We're gonna go into Guild Wars 1 for some of my streams. We're gonna be playing Nightfall. We're gonna play a Nightfall playthrough with a Paragon. So I said it would be really cool to have this playthrough of Nightfall is gonna go a long time, and then we're using that same character to go into Eye of the North. And I said it would be really cool if in that time, Janthia Wilds comes out, and we have long range spears on warriors that are Paragon inspired. So we'll have to see now if this is really what happens. I'm very excited. We're somewhere in Kryda, I'm guessing. Yeah, Centaurs in Kryda somewhere. Okay, so warrior, long range. So far, I really like it. Ooh, and they even step away. They go, oh, okay. So let's just watch it to the end. Oh, It's very simple, and I really like that. It's not so, because we did see that one skill, that fiery skill, during the preview, and we figured out that it was the elementalist based on the like arm fire thing that they have. You know, whatever element they're in, they get like a little ring of the element around their wrists. So we figured out that in the trailer for Janthier Wilds that they have that they are showing an elementalist. And I kind of was just like, maybe it's a warrior, maybe it's an elementalist, but this is so much simpler, and I really like it. It's really simple, really easy, really straightforward, and I kind of like that because we don't need to have overly dramatic animations for everything. You know what I mean? For everything. So, because that's what it's been. A lot of the new weapons have been like overly dramatic animations and overly like there's so much going on screen, you know, like I'm thinking of like Revenant Scepter auto attack was just like the entire screen is filled with you swinging the like mist lightsaber thing, you know, and the Necromancer Sword 4, where like the giant mouth comes. I'm like, we already have that mouth animation as like a little one, and that's already kind of like, okay, it's kind of cool, kind of neat, whatever, right? But you make it like gigantic, right? And it's just like, oh my god, it's a little too much. So I like this. This is really good. So let's kind of look through some of this stuff. So this seems to be the auto attack, just throwing your spear, attacking, very simple. But then they do something really interesting. So they step back. So there seems to be a leap backwards. Not sure if that comes with like, it doesn't look like it comes with another boon or something. So I don't know if it's like a step backward and evade at the same time. That would be kind of cool. But then she casts something. There's something that happens. You can kind of watch the animation. She like points her finger really quick, and an X appears over the enemy. So it seems to me that we're like marking the enemy for death or something. Probably increasing damage if you're attacking the enemy that's been marked or something, or something like that, right? We already have something. We already have the warrior shout, which is called On My Mark. Now that obviously is doesn't it do something like that as well? Doesn't it do some kind of symbol above the enemy too or something? I seem to remember something like that. I could be wrong, but seems similar to that. But yeah, and then we continue attacking, and then it gets really cool because, oh, so that's what it is. So it's actually like a strike from above that she's casting. That's what's happening here. Okay, I figured that out now. Sorry for anyone that figured that out earlier, because I just figured that out. So she's casting that, right? But she keeps auto attacking, and then after a while, this thing expires, and that's when you kind of see the, again, arena net. You need to stop with the ground targeting. That's like meant for enemies or whatever, but anyways, so, and that's when they call down. Okay, so it's like a strike from above. That's really cool. And that is probably the burst, I'm guessing, where she jumps up, maybe, I don't know, and just throws it and boulders explode out of the ground. I mean, that's really cool. And that's like the only flashiness that we kind of get, right? So, and that's it. It's really simple. So let's read through the article. We didn't get any symbols. We didn't get any like, anything to decipher, so we didn't get that. But let's kind of read through it. When Guild Wars 2 Janthier Wilds launches, and I want to make sure you guys can actually, okay, yeah, you guys can see it. Launches on August 20th. Each of the 9 professors will have a blah blah blah. Yeah, we already know all this. Provided a general Q&A. This week games discussing. Okay. All right, so weird how they are starting with the warrior, which was the last in the video. But anyways, the warrior spear is a power-based weapon inspired by ancient sun spear techniques. All right, perfect. So we're getting Paragon right there. Perfect. I love that. Capable of striking multiple opponents at range. So, okay, so this is interesting, and I like this. So it's a long-range weapon, power-based, but where the rifle, and yes, I will say the rifle does suck. It's not a good weapon right now, but the rifle is a power-based single-target weapon. The spear is going to be a AOE, long-range AOE. It says multiple targets, multiple opponents at range. So it's a long-range power-based AOE. Love it. I'm already in love with it. I already love this so much. Very excited for that. Even though most of their skills can attack distant foes, some of them gain increased effectiveness when used on closer targets, making opponents think twice about closing the gap. Oh, that's really cool. Okay, so when they get closer, you do more damage to them. Okay, so there's kind of like a trade-off if you want to do long range. It's it's gonna be interesting to see what the numbers are, like how significant of an increase of damage it is, because then it what I don't want ArenaNet to run into is saying it's a long range weapon, but making it only really effective if you're at close range, right? Like, I feel like that's kind of the issue that you're going to run into, because you're going to have, um, you're going to have like, oh, they're going to say, oh, it's a long range weapon, but I can still attack us at close range. And if it's so much more significant in damage, um, that when I'm closer, then I feel like it's not really a long range weapon. So I feel like there has to be some kind of balance, because you have that one skill that where you step away from the enemy as well. Like, I feel like, how does that play into that whole situation? Like, do I gain like a boost from that for a time or something? Like, I don't know. We'll have to see how that plays out. Um, the warrior spear auto attack is Mighty Throw, which hurls the spear at a single target, or I keep saying target, enemy, shattering on impact and sending spear fragments into other enemies. I did not see that. Was that clear in the animation there? No, that's not really clear to see. Okay, interesting. The water didn't want to stay the way the water line for the thing. So you might hear a drip in the background. Where was I? Oh, Mighty Throw hurls enemies, shattering on impact and sending spear fragments into other enemies around the target. So maybe we're not seeing the animation because there was no target around in the video, and that's the only target there. So the auto attack might only send out spear fragments if there's actually targets around to send them to. They're not just like randomly coming out as is in the animation. So that might be why we don't see them there. Proximity to the target matters. As the closer the target is to where, the more fragments are created. Oh, interesting. Okay. So it probably goes from like 3 to 4 to 5 or something like that, right? Maiming Spear is a ranged area attack. The warrior launches the spear into the air, dealing initial damage and crippling foes in the area of effect. The cripple is helpful to prevent enemies from escaping the aftershock that follows, which is larger the closer the targeted area is to the warrior. If breathing room is so, these things that she's firing down there cripples, and they are closer together the farther away it is. It gets wider. I'm guessing this is the skill. It gets wider the closer they are. Okay, that's interesting. This whole mechanic is interesting, but like I said, I feel like they're running into the whole idea of like you want to attack us at close range all the time. But we'll have to see how it plays out, really, number wise and stuff. To the warrior. If breathing room is required, a spear swipe propels the warrior backward in an evasive maneuver before sending a gust of wind forward to knock enemies back. Oh, that's what that was. Okay. I was wondering if that was just like flare. When she jumps back, watch it. When she jumps back, right there's a little wind right there. And I was just like, maybe that's just like from the jump back. There was like stuff coming off the ground right here. But that it seems to be a gust of wind that knocks enemies back. Finally, the spear burst skill Harrier's Toss allows the warrior to leap up in the air, evading attacks while hurling the spear down with explosive force and dealing more damage the more adrenaline is spent on the burst attack. Which makes sense. I mean, that's like most burst attacks. Very warrior, very simple, very whatever. Again, it's really strange because to me, having abilities like, if breathing room is required, like having things where you evade backwards, but saying, hey, the closer you are, the more damage you do, seems a little counterintuitive in having it in its own set of things, right? Like in its own weapon the 5 skills that you have. It seems kind of strange. So we'll have to really, well, doing testing, I'm gonna really see how that feels with, is it a significant increase in damage if I'm really close to them, and do I really want to be up close to them all the time? Or does it not play that much of a role? Like, is it only going to be, oh well, you get larger AoEs or something, but you also get more targets on the mighty throw. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. Chain attacks with the thief spear. So thief spear is a melee hybrid weapon that can be utilized by both power and condition damage builds. Okay, interesting. It also draws some inspiration from an old system in the original Guild Wars that assassin players should be familiar with. Let's dive right in. So yeah, so chain attacks. This is interesting that they say, before I go into it, so, or actually let's read it and we can talk about it. The second and third spear skill slots share some characteristics. Each has 3 different states, but will always be in the same state as the other. Okay. Wait, what? Has 3 different states, but will always be, so okay, how do you change? By default, they will both be lead attacks. Striking enemy with either lead attack will flip both slots into the next state. Follow-up attacks. And in a similar fashion, striking enemy with either follow-up attack will flip the slots into the final stance. Finisher attacks. Yes, they're both combo finishers. After using one of the finishers, both skill slots will flip back to the original attack state, ready to start a chain over again. Although the 4th and 5th skill and the stealth attack all gain additional bonuses when following a finisher skill. So you may want to weave one of those in before using another lead attack. One last note on the skill chains: using other skills during the chain sequence will not reset the chain, but failing to strike an enemy with a follow-up attack will. Okay, so if I miss, or if it's blocked, or whatever. Now that we have a quick overview of the mechanic, let's look at the full slot 2 chain. I'm kind of, the reason why I'm so hesitating on reading is because I'm kind of confused on how this all works, but I'll talk about that in a second, because I think I just need to read through all of it. These are all assassin skills. Entangling Asp and Mantis Sting are assassin skills from Guild Wars 1. I read that earlier, like, oh, Falling Spider too. Those are all, because I recently leveled, I leveled an assassin recently in Guild Wars 1, and I remember looking through the skills, and those are Guild Wars 1 skills. They're all assassin skills. But anyways, let's take a look. You'll be able to mix and match slots throughout the chain. For example, 3, 2, 3 totally works, so we won't be covering all the skills today. Yeah, so as they're saying, like, 2 and 3 will flip over together. It doesn't matter if you're using 2 or 3. 2 and 3 will constantly flip over together, and you can mix and match. You can do 2, 3, 3, or 2, 2, 3, or 2, 3, 2, or whatever, right? Or 3, 2, 3, whatever you want to do, right? You can mix and match, but they will flip over, and they're in chains of 3. So, the Mantis Sting lead attack is a quick melee strike that inflicts bleeding and crippled, which I think it does so in Guild Wars 1 too. This will flip into Entangling Asp, which poisons, and that is what it does in Guild Wars 1 as well. It poisons enemies and will mobilize enemies that are affected by a movement impairing condition. Okay, so the lead attack gives you crippled, and then because you have crippled on the enemy, if you use Entangling Asp, it will also mobilize them. So again, there's really good synergy, because we have the trades that deal with poison, right? Where, like, if you immobilize an enemy, you poison them. I think, doesn't the thief have that? So you have a poison, but then you immobilize if they're crippled, or have other movement impairing conditions, but then so you immobilize and you poison again, so you get like all this extra poison, which is good for condition damage builds. Finally, we have the finisher Falling Spider. This skill inflicts bleeding, poison, and vulnerability, inflicting additional stacks against enemies that are either immobilized or under the effects of crowd control. Okay, so you can just stack a crap ton of conditions here. because you get poison again, and then you get additional stacks if they're immobilized. Yeah, so there's just like a ton of conditions. Each skill's bonus trigger conditions are fulfilled by the previous skill in the chain, but these conditions are all things that the thief has broader access to. So there are opportunities to get these bonuses when chaining skills together from different skill slots. Yeah, so you can immobilize them or whatever and just kind of chain it that way. Okay, interesting. So to kind of give you guys an overview, for those people that don't quite understand where the Guild Wars 1, the original Guild Wars reference comes from, chain attacks. So it's really interesting that they say this. So in Guild Wars 1, you have chain attacks, where so in Guild Wars 1 you only get 8 skills on your bar, and you can mix and match them however you want to. They're not bound to your weapon. As long as they're accessible to your profession that you're using, you can put them on the bar. Okay, obviously you want to make sure that there's synergy and there's build crafting, and there's a huge, even more so than in Guild Wars 2, there's a huge amount of build crafting in Guild Wars 1. But the assassin, right here they talk about this, the assassin in Guild Wars 1 had a specific mechanic that had lead attacks. What is it called? Lead attacks is the first one. Then we have the it's lead attack to a follow-up attack or something is what it's called. Lead attacks, follow-up attacks, and then it will be, the final one will be a finisher skill. I don't think that's what it was called in Guild Wars 1. I think that was called something else, but anyways, doesn't matter. So anyways, you had to use them, those 3 skills. There were all kinds of lead attacks, all kinds of follow-up attacks, all kind of finisher skills, and you could kind of build your whole set of skills, and you can set them however you wanted to, but you had to use a lead attack first, and then a follow-up, and then a finisher. The interesting part is that they took that concept, right? They took that concept of doing 1, 2, 3, of having 3 different skills that you have to chain together, and that's how. And I remember this was a talk from the developers early on in Guild Wars 2's development. I want to say, I could be wrong on this, but I feel like I remember them saying that the inspiration for the auto attacks that we have on a lot of our skills now are based off of the this set that the assassin had. Because if you look at, like, let's say the auto attack on like a sword for warrior, right? It's just like 1 attack, 2 attack, 3 attack, right? Or whatever. You strike it, there's 3 different skills, right? And they took inspiration from the set of like 1, 2, 3, right? Like lead attack, follow up, finisher, right? And that's, so we already have this implemented in the game, but they're now doing this on like a different level. Like they're doing it even more so specifically where you have to use the 1 attack, right? And it's very interesting where you can like kind of swap. Now my question here is, and this seems kind of, again, this would be like testing, requiring some testing, because my question is, why do we have those in the 2 and 3 slot? If we're just going to be bouncing off of those constantly, what's the point of having an auto attack then? The auto attack is just going to be like us stabbing or something, or like throwing the spear or something, but then we have to do like, we're constantly pressing 2, 3, 2 or whatever, right? We're pressing the 2 and the 3 skill. I guess they're going to be costing initiative, so maybe once you spend initiative, that's when you go back to auto attacking. I guess that makes sense then, because you have actually, because Thief doesn't just like use these attacks like non-stop. They have initiative, so I guess you spend initiative to use those attacks, and then I guess the 2, it looks like the slot 2 chain is Condi, and then slot 3 will be power based, I'm guessing. The other issue that I'm seeing, so I guess the first issue that I had kind of is resolved by the initiative, because once you've spent your initiative, you're kind of done with that, right? And it's like you have to go back to auto attacking. So there is a point to auto attacking, but an issue that I see here is like, if I'm building full condition damage, then there's no sense in me using the 3 skill. So I have a dead skill on my skill bar. I guess the thief, like, because I'm just kind of like thinking about this. So I guess that's what makes the thief a little unique, right? Because the thief just kind of sometimes has dead skills. You just have to use your initiative pretty smart. So that's what makes the thief so unique. So as I'm thinking about this actually makes a lot of sense. And this feels probably really good, like, to use. I feel like. I feel like this comes together really well, and someone thought this out really well. Because as I'm thinking about this all seems to kind of make sense. Because, like I said, I had questions as I went through this. I'm like, how does this all work? But it seems to really work. This is an interesting concept. I could see myself using the thief on the spear on the thief, or using a spear on a thief. But yeah, anyways, so that's interesting. Yeah, I like this. Okay, cool, awesome. I'm excited for that. I'm gonna try that out because I would like to make a. I had a thief actually that was a poison build like thief. I was trying to do like a Condi and just focus on poison. And with the recent, and I ended up deleting him because it was just like, I'm not really feeling it. But then relics came out, and there's a couple of interesting relics that deal with poison now. And then having something like this where like you can really focus on doing a poison build, maybe like it seems like this. My thing is with ArenaNet that recently, and I like that this is happening. So one thing that I feel like has really happened in recent years is that a lot of condition builds have moved towards like Torment. Like, I don't know if anyone else really realized that. So Torment was not in the original Guild Wars 2. Okay, it was a later edition that was added. And then it slowly took over all the condition-based damage, right? Like every condition-based build now has like Torment in abundance. It's like one of the biggest things, right? If like, I guess Mesmer uses a lot of confusion, but like I feel like, or burning. It's either burning, which is a lot of like things like warrior and elementalist and stuff like that, and firebrand, specific guardian and stuff. But then I feel like poison has kind of fallen out of favor, and has kind of been replaced with Torment a lot. But you could use this. I don't know. This would be interesting. I don't know how this would work with the Spectre Elite specialization, because Spectre concentrates, again, this is where it comes in, right? A lot on Torment. So I would like to maybe see just like a general, maybe changes to like some of the traits there, where like instead of specifically just Torment, maybe just doing all conditions or something, where some of the stuff, I don't know. But I feel like there's something interesting that you can build nonetheless. So looking forward to using that. All right, so engineer. I know nothing about the engineer. It's shocking. I love that very much. It's interesting that they capitalize. Is this a reference to something? Because it's like chain attacks with the thief, and then here they capitalize is. I don't know if that's a typo or if that's like, I don't know. It doesn't spell anything out because it's ESIS. I don't know. Anyways, weird. Engineer Spear is shocking. I know nothing about engineers. Like I said, it's probably my least played class, profession. So anyways, surviving in certain lightning-prone environments can be difficult. It can be a difficult task for the common Tyrian. Engineers with their indomitable desire to create and adapt have found a way to turn their knowledge against their enemies as weapons of mass destruction. Let's talk about how we'll be using the spear to dart around the battlefield and dominate targeted foes. The Engineer's Spear combat style is melee-oriented with hybrid damage, encouraging you to pick a target and run directly into battle while utilizing a variety of control and damage skills. Your primary skill for this weapon is called Conduit Surge. This skill dashes to your target foes and applies the focused effect to them. the focused effect. So that's that little we see it right here in that picture a little bit, that little orange bow thing. So you have like a little, you focus on an enemy. So what I thought was going to be for the warrior is actually going to be on the engineer. That's interesting. Charging them for future attacks. Every other weapon attack will apply a bonus effect or work to maintain the focused effect on your foe. One thing to note about Conduit Surge is that if a foe is defeated while under the effect, the skill will refresh and allow you to pursue your next target. Okay, so it's just like, it's almost it's like targeting, what is that, marking a target when you're in not Daredevil. What's the other one? The rifle. Oh my gosh, what's it called? I can't remember. For the thief, you know what I'm talking about. We build up malice if you attack that target with like stealth attacks or whatever, which they had changed. You know, that wasn't like that originally, but nonetheless. So that's kind of what it feels like. You target a specific enemy, and if they die, you get that recharged or whatever. The lightning rod skill is constantly available while wielding a spear. Constantly available. The engineer will create a segmented lightning rod that spins around them, dealing bonus damage to focus attack and getting amplifying with bonus for hitting a focus attack for the next skill on the same slot, electric artillery. When the lightning rod is completed, so the electric artillery, I guess, is the spear that we send up, and the field, the lightning rod is the field that we see around us, where the enemy was constantly getting struck by lightning. When lightning rod is completed and hovering over your shoulder, you can choose to launch your charged rod at an enemy, immobilizing them and applying damage conditions based. Oh, so I guess that's what we're firing in the video. Because if you're watching the video, engineer was second. If you're watching the video, we're kind of attacking, and then that's lightning rod here, where you get the field, and we keep attacking, and then once it's finished, the thing comes to us, and I guess you'll have this for a few seconds. You'll have the spear floating over you, and then you can use the skill to send it up into the air and crash down on the enemy and do a bunch of is that a terrible timed cut, or is that just like the animation's weird? Like, watch that crash down. Yeah, look at that. That animation was like kind of strange, the way that it looks. It like flashes and the lightning disappears. I mean, I guess it's supposed to like animate. Someone the other day had a really good point. They were pointing out that like watching any of these animations in slow motion, like not even just like they were saying in general, like in video games and stuff, is not a good idea because a lot of it looks janky because they're trying to like make it look like, you know, it has to look different in quick combat, so it looks kind of weird when you slow it down. So I guess it's probably supposed to just look like a lightning strikes the enemy, but it's led by a spear, right? I think that's what the idea is there. Um, so I don't think we got to see electric artillery. When the lightning rod is completed hovering over your shoulder, you can choose to launch it at your enemy and mobilizing. Oh, I guess that is it. Then wait, what was I talking about? Because oh no, there was nothing else. I don't know. I don't know why I thought there was a third skill. So the lightning rod is the field, and it will constantly go around, spin around, dealing extra damage. And then the next skill in the slot is our electric artillery. When fighting goes completed, hovering over your shoulder. And yeah, so that's the electric artillery is shooting that thing into the thing. Okay. The weapon's fifth skill and Battle Ender is a skill currently called Devastation. Currently called? Are you changing the name? Are you thinking of changing that because we have a Devastation trade line already or something? Which allows you to leap to a targeted area and deliver a massive EMP style attack, inflicting focused foes with a continuously damaging effect. We look forward to watching you tear around the battlefield. Mixing both. Interesting. So yeah, okay. I don't know. Did we see that? Did we see the animation of that? Oh, I guess this right here is that. Okay, that's the Battle Ender. I like these. If I were to compare these to, what was it? The Guardian, the Necromancer. What was the other one? Oh my god, I can't even remember. Oh, Ranger. Which ones would I? Which? Just 3 versus 3. Like, which ones do I like more? I feel like I have bias because I like playing a warrior right now, and I've been wanting to play Paragon, and I'm just super excited to get Paragon back in the game. So, you know, with shouts, like we have shouts already available. We have like there's an outfit that's a Paragon outfit, and you can do plenty of there's different skins where you can make a Paragon looking. So we're gonna have Paragons come back into the game, guys. Like you can create them with these spheres, which is going to be super exciting. But we're not getting shields and offhand. I know a lot of people were talking about that, but I don't really care. As long as I can throw a spear, I'm okay with that. I don't know. It's tough, and I really do like the way that they have the thief designed. And the engineer looks cool. Like, it's not something I would use, but I can totally see people getting, like, hyped for this. Like, engineer players being like, frick yeah. So I think I'm leaning towards these guys. I did really enjoy the Necromancer and the Guardian. I'm not huge on the Ranger. I've not been huge on Ranger for a long time. I don't know, there's just something about it that's kind of rubbing me the wrong way. But anyways, I think I'm just dragging this on for no reason. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on this stuff, guys. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what we're gonna get with Revenant and Elementalist, and Mesmer too. Kind of. I've kind of fallen out of playing my Mesmers recently. But nonetheless, I'm still excited to see what we're gonna get. So let me know what you guys think. Are you guys excited to get Paragons back in the game? For those of you that are Guild Wars 1 fanatics, you know, we still do exist. I'm very excited. I will be playing, so I think I'm gonna be playing a warrior for the, because I've been playing my warrior through the story. So for the streaming, I'm probably gonna just kind of put my warrior in a new fashion and make like a Paragon looking guy, and maybe just play as him for Janthier Wilds and just play a Paragon with some shouts and stuff, and just like kind of like, yeah, as we play along, you know, the Paragon and Guild Wars 1, and we can kind of like compare the streams and we can look at those things. I'm very excited for that. I'm excited to see like Mighty Throw. We're gonna see a lot of Paragon names come back. I mean, obviously we're only gonna see 5 of them, I'm guessing. I mean, there might be like flip over skills or something. And we're already getting 1, 2, and 3 here. 4. And then, well, we have a burst, and then we're getting also a primal burst as well. It'll be interesting to see the primal burst on that. But yeah, I mean, that's very exciting. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, I would really appreciate it. I will be back on Sunday, if we're not getting news tomorrow. I don't know. Oh, well, what is today? Today's Thursday? It is. So we're not getting news tomorrow, I don't think. But yeah, so you'll see me on Sunday. We're gonna do comparison streams on comparison stream on Sunday. We're gonna be doing Vabi. So if you guys are interested in seeing Vabi from Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2 at the same time, side by side, make sure to come check that out. Usually go live around like 8:30, 9 o'clock ish, something like that. I don't know, somewhere around that time. So, but I usually tweet out, so you can follow me on X or whatever. But I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, bye guys.